And good morning from Corvair Alley. Well, I'm going to do my best Dave Moto head imitation here for this informational video. I don't have a hat cam, but I do have a hat on a cam. That probably doesn't count. However, what I'm going to do is show you how this little kit right here works. Full torque thread repair inserts. Permanent thread repair, especially for spark plug holes. In my case, it's going to be over here on a head that had inserts that kept coming out. They unscrewed with the spark plug. As you can see right here, in this center one, I have already used one of the full torque thread inserts to repair that particular hole. I have unscrewed the one in this one, and there's still a plug stuck in this one. So you ask yourself, how do you get a spark plug thread insert out without destroying it? Well, I'll show you. Okay, to get the spark plug out, you take a used spark plug, clean the threads. This is not one I've cleaned, however. Make sure the threads are good and clean. Clean the threads in the insert. Put JB weld on the good old spark plug here and screw it in. Let her set up overnight and then just twist that sucker out. Worked like a champ for me. It'll work for you too. So, let's move on to the next step. Easy spark plug removal. So let's give this a try. Oh yeah, that's coming out real easy. Of course, I do have my extra long handle 3/8 drive ratchet here, which helps with the leverage part of it. But that insert is unscrewing, seeing as how I JB welded the spark plug to it. That makes it very easy to get one of these out. Now these looked good when I did the original replacement here on 2 or 3 of them, so I left them in. But as I found out at the MIDI, when I tried to pull the plugs out for a look-see, we were having the rocker arm problem, didn't work too well. The damn thing's unscrewed. There it is. Got it out with JB weld. So what do you do with these plugs? Right over here. File 13. I would say the round file, but mine's not round. It's actually square, as you can see. Okay, let's look at the parts of the kit here. What we have here, the first thing that you're going to have to use is this nifty thing right here, which will cut the hole, will ream out the hole for the tap here, the tap rather. This is a reamer, and it also cuts a nice little countersink in there for the thread insert. Once you drill the hole with that, then you thread it with this. This is the full torque tap. It also has a lead into it, so you get it in the hole straight. Now this kit can be used with the head actually still on the engine, but I don't do that. Then after you do all that, you take one of these aluminum, this is a anodized aluminum thread insert. You screw it on the end of this, and then you screw it down inside the hole that you've already tapped. But you have to use some of this locking fluid on it. And then once you get that in there and you get your insert put completely in, you take this little long 1/16 inch bit, and this special tool right here has a little piece on the side here. You put this tube on it, and then you thread this 1/16 inch down through the tube. I'm a little nervous this morning. I had too much coffee. Put that down through there like that, and then you drill a hole which will go right down the side of this particular insert. And it's a certain depth, and the depth is set by using this tool here. And then you have these locking pins. These are little 1/16 by 5/16 long steel pins. Once you get your hole drilled, you pull this out, you drop one of these pins down in the hole, you put some sealant on it, and then you take the 1/16 inch bit and you tap it down in there and set the pin. Then you just pull this out, unscrew this. You have to put a little anti-seize on here so that it doesn't stick in there before everything sets up, and you're ready to go. Now this comes with some tapping fluid, which I don't know, it's kind of separated out. I'm not even sure what it is, but I always rely on my good old Rapid Tap cutting fluid. This stuff right here is used by most of the machine shops, and it's good stuff. I don't recommend you drink it though. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Okay, we got to ream these holes out with this particular ream. So let's get on with that. Now that did look a little shaky, but that piloted ream actually makes a pretty nice hole in there. Pretty large hole, but that's the first step of this particular operation. Next, we're going to tap it. Okay, the tap, I've already just put some tapping fluid on there. Pretty big square drive end here, and I don't have a socket adapter to fit it, but I found that a 13 millimeter fits right on there. That way I can use my ratchet wrench handle to drive this thing with. Now, as I said, already put the good tap fluid on there. So let's go about cutting a hole here, or tapping a hole. We already cut him. Let me get this over a little closer to the edge here. As I said, this is a piloted tap, so it goes in the hole straight to begin with, and that's a good thing. Okay, we have through tapped our 2 holes. Now, like I said, this is a special tap. You can't run down to your local Homey Despot or something and pick this bad boy up. But it is a special tap for doing this particular job. It cuts straight heavy-duty thread that'll match those aluminum inserts. And our next deal is going to be after we clean the holes out, is to install this bad boy. So let me get on with doing that and we'll get back to it. Of course, my favorite for cleaning these things out, good old brake clean, CRC brake clean. I tried their green product, doesn't work with 2 hoots, so I stick with this. I have used another brand of brake cleaner, I think O'Reilly's or something. It works okay, but CRC is still the best on the market in my opinion, and that ain't a humble opinion either. Okay, going to put a little Never Seas on there. It's a Valco product. I think I won that stuff at a car show back in the day somewhere, but I can never get near this stuff without getting it on me. It just like leaps out of there. You find this is copper variety here. You find this stuff around a lot of chemical plants that I worked in. So now I got the install tool here. I have the proper thread insert. So now I'm going to thread this bad boy in here with the Never Seas on it all the way up. Now okay, this little tool here is what you use to set your drill depth with using this this guide tube. See, the drill will go all the way down and it has to drill into this insert. Goes half in the insert and half in the threads that you just cut in the heads. So I'm using a 5/16 long pin. You got 2. You got a 3/16 pin and you got a 5/16 pin. So I put it in this hole here. The drill goes down, and then I will attach the drill so that this tube and the drill bit and all that is all set for my drill depth. Okay, here's how we set that. Get it in the hole, boy. Here's how I set that drill depth. Put the drill in there, put the tube on it, bottom the drill out, and then I tighten up the chuck at the right point. That way this drill bit is sticking out exactly the right length to drill the hole to the proper depth to sink the little 5/16 pin in there so that it just barely lines up with the top of the insert. Okay, next step, we want to put some of this Akin pucky on our insert. As I said, it doesn't take a whole lot, but you put some on the insert, and then we thread it in here. See if if we can get it going good. Oh yeah. We thread this thing in. Now we're going to have, this is an anaerobic sealant, as it's called, so it'll set up in the absence of oxygen. Now I have to get my torque wrench ready because there is a torque setting. Okay, according to my chart, it said about 30 pounds for the install torque on this insert here, and I've got my torque wrench set, so let's see how this goes here. I have to get rid of that clamp. Alright, here we go. I think we're starting to tighten up a little. There we go, 30 foot-pounds. Now see if we can back that thing out. Yep. Came loose as advertised because we put the anti-squeeze on it, anti-seize. Take that bad boy out. And looky there. Let me wipe that out a little bit there. Yeah, okay. Now, that's going to be blurry, I can see, but the insert is installed. Next, we're going to drill the hole to set the little pin down the side of it. Okay, now it's time to drill the hole for the pin. So insert the little deal here with the tube, and let's see what we got. There it is, down as far as it's supposed to go. Now, it doesn't say to do this, but I like to pull the tube out and try to blow any of that stuff out of their shavings and what have you. You put the tube back in. So now we get one of these little tiny, and I mean tiny, 5/16 by 1/16 pin, steel pins. Now first, you're supposed to put a couple of drops down the tube here of sealant. Hard to tell what I'm getting in there. Alright, then we take the little pin and we stick it in the tube. Then you take the drill, put it back down in. Now don't turn the drill on. Pretty much all you're doing is tapping that pin down and make it bottom out. Now it looks like I got about 5/16 there, so she's on the bottom just like she should be. So now all I have to do, pull out the adapter, put it in the other hole, and repeat the procedure. Okay, as you can see, there's a little tiny silver dot there. That is the 5/16 inch locking pin installed, half in the threads of the insert and half in the threads that we cut for the insert, with some adhesive, locking fluid as they called it, on the end of it. So that right there pretty much is, like they say, it's lock and stitch, it's permanent. You can't unscrew that thing, not with a spark plug anyway. Okay, this is what it looks like out the other side there. There's some little rough edges here and there and some threads and things I'll have to dress up, smooth out. Don't want to create anything here that will make it pre-ignite, but that's the way it works, and I've done this to several heads now. It works quite well. The kit is well worth the price, but it ain't cheap. Then of course, if your JB weld didn't hold real good and the thread insert only came halfway out, you didn't want to wait for more JB weld to set up, the magic metal melting machine, known as my welder, I was able to get down in there just enough to throw a really big ugly bead on that thing, but it locked it to the spark plug and we got the insert unscrewed. So this is the last one I have to do, get that bad boy fixed. We is done. Be time for a coffee, maybe a brownie. And speaking of my wonderful little metal melting machine, something I learned about it, you got to have a good ground. Like almost any electrical connections, good ground is essential. Well, I got rid of that cockeyed little tin grounding clip they had on here. I went down, I think I found this at Tractor Supply. I bought me a serious ground clamp. Almost have to have another clamp to open it up to clamp it on something. But it works. Okay, there we have it. This head is done. We've got 3 real nice locked in place thread inserts, a la the full torque Loc-n-stitch method. Now it does come with comprehensive instructions if you're of a mind to read them. I just read them to make sure they're right, of course. And you got all the fluids that you need, the sealant and everything. It's got a nice little case here for all the goodies, and you can put all kinds of stuff in here that you need. These are thread inserts. I got some shorter thread inserts in here. What I originally bought this thing for was I had spark plug inserts where somebody had already stripped the spark plug threads, put in an insert, and then stripped that insert out. This kit took care of that, just like I showed you here. Very easy to do. Any Corvair mechanic worth his salt can do this. And there you have it from Corvair Alley. Tip of the day.